Let's get started. Forgive me for not looking at the camera. I'm sure you understand why. The figure of 8 is probably the second most practiced solo drill after straight drives. But how do you know if you're any good at them? Well, the first answer you'd probably give me is how hard you can hit them. And that is a pretty good criteria. The second one might be how long you can keep the ball going for. And that also is a pretty good criteria. But I've got 6 better ways of measuring your figure of 8, and I'm going to show you them now. So the first one is rhythm, making sure that the shots hit the racket and hit the front wall, side wall at exactly the same moment each time. If you hit it a bit harder or a bit softer, the rhythm is going to break, and it is only a small amount, but it's enough to notice. If the ball hits a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right on the front wall, the timing changes, the rhythm changes. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to start with some good ones, hopefully. Now, some bad ones. Hopefully you noticed that. Not only was the timing different, but the heights were, and that plays a part too. So your objective is to listen to the sound, listen to the rhythm, and see if you can hit the ball at exactly the same speed or close, and exactly the same spot on the front wall or close. And that should improve your figure of 8s. Okay, so the next one is pause. Can you pause at the top of your preparation? Some find it easier on one side than the other. I definitely find it easier on the forehand. Now, this is not about whether you should pause, it's about whether you can pause. And I recognize that not everybody likes to pause in their swing, and that's fine. I recommend it, but not everybody does it. I'm going to do a few without pausing, and then a few with pausing. No pauses here. And now for some pauses. Am I any better at hitting them? In this particular case, no, I don't think I am. But that's not the point of it. The point is, if you can't do it, then in a real match, when the ball comes at an unexpected angle, or you may need to make adjustments, you might not be able to make those adjustments. So, if you can pause, you've passed the second checklist. So, number 3, below the cut line. The objective here is to have maybe a shorter swing, a flatter trajectory of that swing, and you probably have to hit the ball a little bit harder. So you don't want to start with these. Now, the temptation is to walk forward or stay further forward, but I don't want you to do that. So let's see what I can do. What? Now, if I have to, let the ball bounce a few times. It's okay if you let the ball bounce. I mean, it's not what you want, but it's okay. I'm a bit too far forward. Let me go back. Look how low I am. Now, I might have actually had a bigger swing. I'm not sure. But my objective was to keep the ball low and swing so that I'm not hitting too high. So if you can do that, I don't know how many I did, 10 or 12, do it, because that is the 3rd checklist. Number 4 on the checklist is, can you keep your feet still when hitting figure of 8s? And just like the pause, not should you, because no, you should absolutely not in this case. You need to be adjusting, but can you? Because if you can, then your basic ball control is good. Now, I recommend not just saying to yourself, I'm not going to move my feet. No, put something on your feet. Now, in this case, I've got the Master Athletics Training Racket. Full review of this coming soon. It's super cool. And I put it on my feet. I put my feet further apart than I think I need them. I place the racket on top. Doesn't need to fit perfectly. Place the racket on top, as you can see, and off I go. I might need to hit the ball a fraction higher than I might normally. If I can't do it, let it bounce. I can do it. Do I want to do it? No. But it is good practice sometimes because it forces us to hit the ball incredibly accurately so that we don't have to move the feet. So if you can do that, say 25 without moving your feet, put a racket. I put that training racket, but you can just put any racket or tracksuit bottoms, doesn't matter. If you can do that, you've passed the checklist. Well done. Okay, so the fifth one is, can you stand further back? And each little step is exponentially harder than the previous one. So I would normally stand on the short line, and I would just hit. No problem. I can do this all day, and you probably could too. But what happens if I take a step back? I'm now here, just about a racket away. What happens now? Let's find out. Well, I've got to hit higher, that's clear, or harder, but hitting harder means that I lose control. Okay. This is my second take, and the first ones were terrible, and this ones are much better. But what about the next step? What if I now do it on the back of the service box? Much harder. The angle change, the distance and the angle change make it so much harder to be able to keep the ball going. And you might be wondering, well, what happens when I finish all of your checklists, Philip? Am I the expert? Well, maybe, yeah. But there are variations, and that will be in a future video. Ways to maximize your time doing the basic figure of eight with some variations. And one of those variations, part of the checklist, is can you do it further back? Each little change makes a huge difference, and I can't imagine being able to keep it going at the back. But what I can tell you is with practice, you will be able to get better at it. Don't know if you'll ever be great at it, but you will be able to get better. So that is the fifth checklist. On to the last one. And before I talk about the final one, let me just remind you about my fast focus practice plans. There's a free sample available. You get 12 themed routines, each routine about 40 minutes, designed to put you under pressure and work different aspects of your solo practice. Link is in the text description. And the final checklist, a vintage racket. Now for this one, I've chosen the classic Dunlop 500 GS. It's a very special racket made from injection molded graphite around the 1986-87 era. And I'm sure you've guessed immediately why I would do this. The smaller the head, the better my timing has to be. So, can I do it? Let's find out. No pressure. Actually, I'm not too unhappy with that demonstration, just with very, very little practice. Now, you probably say to me, but Philip, I haven't got a vintage racket. Yeah, not everybody does, it's true, but they're not expensive. You can get some in great condition on websites, Wallapop or eBay or places like this, or maybe you have some, Facebook Marketplace, or there's plenty of places, all for under £10, €10, $10. And as a training aid, it's absolutely fantastic. So I highly recommend you get one of those. As always, if you've got any doubts or questions, let me know in the comments. And also tell me which one you found the hardest, because I'm quite curious about that. And do something every single day to improve your squash. See ya.